charisma is a double-edged sword. It can rally nations, inspire revolutions, and build empires, but it can also pave the way for tyranny, war, and unspeakable suffering. Throughout history, a handful of leaders have wielded this powerful force to rise from obscurity to ultimate authority, forever altering the destinies of their countries and the course of the world. This is the story of 5 men: Julius Caesar, Benito Mussolini, Mao Zedong, Joseph Stalin, and Adolf Hitler, whose magnetic presence and ruthless ambition shaped history, for better or worse. Julius Caesar, the charismatic general who became Rome's dictator. He came, he conquered, and he reshaped the future of the Roman Empire. But Julius Caesar wasn't just a brilliant general, he was a master manipulator, a charismatic leader, and a man with a vision that would forever alter the course of history. Julius Caesar wasn't born into the highest circles of Roman society, but his charismatic presence and military genius quickly propelled him to the top. Through brilliant tactics, he expanded the Roman Empire, winning the admiration of his soldiers and the loyalty of the people. But his rise didn't come without tension. As Caesar's power grew, so did the fears of the Roman Senate, who saw him as a threat to the Republic. In 49 BC, he famously crossed the Rubicon River, declaring, "The die is cast." His ambition was undeniable, and soon he was appointed dictator for life. While he enacted many reforms, including land redistribution and the reform of the calendar, his enemies grew ever more suspicious. In 44 BC, Caesar was assassinated by a group of senators, his dreams of reshaping Rome cut short by those who feared his unlimited power. His death marked the end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire, a transition that would forever change history. Benito Mussolini, the charismatic leader who created fascist Italy. In the early 20th century, Italy was a nation teetering on the brink of collapse, burdened by economic strife and political chaos. Enter Benito Mussolini, a man with a dream to restore Italy's greatness and a charisma that would pull an entire nation behind him. But he became the father of fascism. Benito Mussolini's rise to power is a tale of charismatic persuasion in a time of political instability. Italy, after World War I, was in turmoil, facing economic collapse and social unrest. Mussolini, a former socialist turned nationalist, used his fiery speeches to rally the masses. He founded the Fascist Party in 1919, promising a return to Italian greatness. By 1922, Mussolini's charismatic appeal and his promises of order and prosperity led to the March on Rome, a dramatic show of force that pressured King Victor Emmanuel III to appoint him prime minister. Mussolini began his reign by consolidating power, eroding democracy, and implementing totalitarian policies. However, Mussolini's hubris led to disastrous decisions, such as his alliance with Nazi Germany and his involvement in World War II. By 1945, with Italy in ruins, Mussolini was captured by partisans and executed, his regime crushed under the weight of its own arrogance and the brutal reality of war. Mao Zedong, the revolutionary leader who shaped modern China. A poor farmer's son, Mao Zedong rose from obscurity to become the architect of modern China. With his firebrand speeches, his revolutionary ideals, and his unwavering charisma, he united a nation of millions. Mao Zedong's story is one of revolutionary zeal and uncompromising ideology in China. Born into poverty, Mao's early life shaped his desire for change. He was captivated by the idea of a communist revolution that would lift China out of the centuries of oppression it faced. Through his charismatic leadership, Mao rallied peasants and workers to form the Chinese Communist Party, and his victory in the Chinese Civil War led to the creation of the People's Republic of China in 1949. Mao's vision for China was bold: to industrialize quickly and move from agrarian backwardness to a global superpower. His Great Leap Forward in 1958 sought to rapidly industrialize, but the policy resulted in widespread famine, killing millions. Still, Mao's charismatic control kept him in power, though his mistakes mounted. In 1966, he launched the Cultural Revolution, a campaign to purge the country of counter-revolutionaries and revitalize Chinese communism. It plunged China into chaos, with mass persecution and destruction of culture. Mao's charismatic grip on the people made him a legend, but it also destroyed the lives of millions, and the cost of his leadership remains a painful legacy. Joseph Stalin, the Iron Fist of the Soviet Union. From humble beginnings to becoming one of the most feared leaders in history, Joseph Stalin's story is one of ruthless power, charismatic control, and a legacy of terror. The man, who started as an outsider in the Bolshevik Revolution, climbed to the top and destroyed everything in his way to stay there. Joseph Stalin's rise from a humble background to becoming the undisputed leader of the Soviet Union was marked by ruthless ambition and masterful manipulation. Stalin's charismatic presence and ability to play the political game allowed him to outmaneuver rivals like Leon Trotsky, even after the death of Lenin in 1924. Stalin implemented his 5-year plans, turning the Soviet Union into an industrial giant, but at an extreme cost. His collectivization of agriculture led to millions of deaths from famine, and his Great Purge systematically eliminated anyone he saw as a threat, including his own comrades. The fear he instilled in the country kept him in power for decades, but it also meant that Stalin ruled through terror and repression. While Stalin succeeded in making the Soviet Union a superpower, his charismatic grip on the nation left the country traumatized, divided, and brutalized by his policies. Stalin's death in 1953 left the Soviet Union a powerful force, but also a nation scarred by his legacy. Adolf Hitler, the charismatic tyrant who led the world to war. Adolf Hitler wasn't born a dictator. He wasn't born into wealth or power, but through sheer charisma, he manipulated the hearts and minds of millions. This is the chilling story of how a failed artist became the leader of Nazi Germany, and how his ruthless ambition led to war, genocide, and the destruction of Europe. Adolf Hitler's rise is one of history's most chilling examples of charismatic manipulation. Born into poverty and rejected by art schools, Hitler found his true calling in politics. The turmoil of post-World War I Germany, coupled with economic hardship and the humiliation of the Treaty of Versailles, allowed Hitler's charismatic speeches to resonate with the masses. He promised to restore Germany to greatness and rebuild the country's pride. By 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor, and within a year, he seized total control. His Nazi party created a totalitarian state based on racist ideologies and the vision of a greater Germany. Through propaganda and mass rallies, Hitler cultivated a personal connection with the German people, convincing them that his charismatic leadership would lead them to prosperity. But his vision led to war, and his delusional belief in racial superiority resulted in the Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews and millions of others. The devastation of World War II and his pursuit of world domination led to Germany's downfall. By 1945, Hitler was trapped in his bunker, and as the Allies closed in, he ended his life, leaving behind a legacy of destruction. Charisma can uplift a nation or tear it apart. From Julius Caesar's ambition to reshape Rome to Hitler's terrifying hold over Nazi Germany, these leaders changed the world not just through power, but through presence. They inspired loyalty, fear, and often blind devotion. But behind every rousing speech or dramatic rise to power lies a story of consequences, both triumphant and tragic. If you found these stories gripping and want to explore more unforgettable figures who shaped history, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We've got more powerful stories coming your way. Don't miss them.